Hey everyone, I'm Nick, and welcome to another episode of Advanced Topics. So in this episode of the series, we're going to be talking about scalarization. So scalarization is this optimization done by our compiler for taking branchy code and turning it into a branchless equivalent form. And the reason why we do this is because of misspeculation. So when we guess wrong on a conditional branch, right, or we guess the incorrect destination for a branch, we end up having to clean up later on when we figure out that we misspeculated. And this cleanup can take some time and lead to our program slowing down. So if we can find an equivalent form that doesn't have these branches, right, we can, in many cases, see a performance improvement. So let's go ahead and see how our compiler does this with a simple example of this check val function. So here we'll go ahead and have a function that takes a value, and it just checks to see if that value is within this range of numbers. So if it's greater than 4 and less than 43, we return 1, and if it falls outside of that range, either below or above, we end up returning 0. And our assembly basically faithfully recreates this. So we end up seeing, we load in our input value, which is stored in RDI or passed in RDI. Then we go ahead and move 4 into EAX, and we do a comparison between 4 and our input value that's in RSP minus 8. Then we do a jump based upon this comparison. So if our number, or rather if 4 is greater than or equal to our number, that just means we failed the first comparison. So we jump down here, store 0, and return. Otherwise, we continue executing. We do the second comparison, which is right here, where we compare our input value against 43 this time. Then if our input value is greater than or equal to, so we have a jump greater than or equal to. So if our number is greater than or equal to 43, that means we failed the upper comparison. So we jump down here, store 0, and return. Otherwise, we just drop through, we store 1, and then we return 1. So, pretty intuitive how the unoptimized form looks. And as soon as we turn on optimizations, you see we get the scalarization and all of our branches go away. But now we have to figure out what exactly is going on here. So the first thing we end up seeing happening is we're subtracting 5 from our input value that's in EDI. So we're adding -5 to our input value. And this is just shifting our entire problem over by 5. So we're shifting both of our comparisons as well. So now instead of comparing if our number is greater than 4, so basically if our number is 5 or greater, now we're comparing to see if our number is 0 or greater on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side comparison here, this value is less than 43. Now instead of checking to see if our value is less than 43, we need to compare if our value is less than 38, right? So that's what we have down here, this comparison of EDI and 38. And this XOR operation right here is just zeroing out our return register. So this comparison, we're comparing our input value that's been shifted over by 5 with 38. And we have a conditional set now. So this is replacing our conditional branches now. We have a conditional set. And this isn't going to be predicted by our branch predictor, right? So we don't need to worry about misspeculation on this. Okay, and this AL right here, this is just the lower byte of our EAX register. So it's the first 8 bits of our EAX register. So we zeroed it out, and then this conditional set will either set it to 0 or to 1. So you may be wondering, okay, I can see the upper comparison here. So I shifted everything over by 5. I can see that, I'm comparing here. I'm making sure that so this is a set, if below, that's what that B is for. So I'm checking to see if my value is below 38. Okay, so that looks like my upper comparison. But where's my lower comparison if my value is greater than 4, right? Or, in this case, it's if my value is greater than or equal to 0, right? Because we've shifted everything over by 5. So it turns out that that gets rolled into the exact same comparison, right? And you may be wondering how. And this all goes back to the fact that comparison treats these registers right here as unsigned numbers, right? Or it'll treat these things as unsigned numbers. So what does our negative number look like as an unsigned number? So let's go ahead and scroll over this -5 here, and you see the actual bit pattern. It actually looks like a huge unsigned number. It's this 0xFFFFF. So each of those F's is equivalent to 4 ones in binary, all the way down until we get to B down there. So if we interpret a negative number, right, as an unsigned number, it looks like a huge number by comparison. But remember, right, what we ended up doing was shifting it so that our first valid value was 0. That means our negative numbers, right, so if we pass in a negative number, that looks like a huge number by comparison, and that huge number will not be below 38, right? So we basically rolled the comparison of, the value being greater than 4 and the value being less than 43 into the single comparison by playing around and shifting the values over so that it's more centered around 0. But you can see here we got rid of those 3 different branches there, the 2 conditional branches. So if we go ahead and go back, by playing around a bit and doing the scalarization, we got rid of this jump greater than or equal to, this jump greater than or equal to, and this unconditional jump down here. We got rid of all 3 of them, and we greatly simplified our code, in this pretty clever fashion. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. It's a brief introduction to this optimization called scalarization. As always, all the code for any of my series can be found at github.com/coffeebeforearch. So you can go ahead and check out any of this up here. We've got stuff on GPU programming, C++ programming, some micro benchmarks, even some samples on C++20. I'll go ahead and link another presentation below that shows off a number of these great compiler optimizations that you should take a look at. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. As always, I'm Nick, and I hope you have a nice day.